and welcome to the Trading Bell. Now, something amazing has just happened right here at the exchange. That's the bell ringing ceremony for Satrix MSCI World ETF. What is it all about and what do you need to understand? I'll be hosting the CEO, that is Fikile Mbhokota, the CEO of Satrix, and Yusuf Wadee, the head of ETFs at Satrix. We want to understand how can you invest, what's in it for you, and let's get straight to the conversation. Miss Fikile and Yusuf, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. And as you say, asante sana.
Asante sana. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Great. Yusuf, have you learned a Swahili word yet?
You know, I'm starting.
You're
I'm starting. But I think give me a few more days and I think we'll be very fluent in the conversation in Swahili.
Excellent. Now that you're in Kenya, definitely you will learn a lot. And let me start with you, Ms. Fikile, just to understand, for the sake of our viewers, people have heard about Satrix. It's now the exchange, the bell has rung. But what is Satrix all about? So that at least, the investors there can tap into it. Go ahead, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Satrix is an investment management company founded in South Africa.
Yeah.
It is the largest indexation manager in South Africa, if not in Africa. Mm-hmm. We manage around 260 billion assets in rands. Yeah. And I think if you convert it to Kenyan shillings, it's around 1.7 trillion Kenyan shillings. Wow. And we manage assets and track indices across various structures and asset classes, including international equities, local equities, et cetera, et cetera. I think what's also fantastic is that we also manage across different structures, including ETFs, and which is why we are here to launch our MSCI World our Satrix MSCI World ETF. If I look at our book in terms of ETFs, we manage about 38 ETFs at 77 billion rands, which is equivalent to 560 billion Kenyan shillings.
No, I love that. And listening to you speak today, you said this is just the first of the many that will be coming, right?
Absolutely. We are looking forward to working together with the Kenyans and to co-creating and making sure that we can list ETFs that speak to the Kenyan investor. Excellent.
Yusuf, let me bring you in. And Yusuf, as I said again, is the head of ETF at Satrix. One of the key things is the opening up of global markets for investors. And we've seen that trend really taking up as we are helping investors really make a living out of it. So what does this listing really unlock in terms of access to global markets? You being here at the NSE?
Because, and thanks for that question. We've been spending the last few years, with the CMA and NSE in working out what product do we bring first, right?
Yeah.
As Fikile alluded to, we've got 38 ETFs in South Africa, covering a whole variety of markets. We cover everything from Asia to South Africa to global markets. And in thinking about what product to bring, the choice was pretty obvious. We've got a fund in South Africa called, and as we all know, we've got a fund in South Africa called the Satrix MSCI World. Yeah. It is certainly one of our flagship, if not the flagship fund in our range. Yeah. It's just.
Can I add that it's been voted as the People's Choice Award?
People's Choice Award.
Yes, for ETFs.
We've got an ETF Awards ceremony in South Africa every year, run by a local ETF company. Yeah. And they screen all the best ETFs annually in South Africa. Wow. And so they screen in terms of performance, they screen in terms of popularity. And this ETF is the most popular ETF in South Africa in the global category. So when thinking about which product to bring first, this was a no-brainer. In many ways, it has applications across the board. So for instance, institutional investors, when they think about building portfolios for their clients, the MSCI World Index is almost the index of choice in terms of describing the global investment universe, in terms of giving the most broad-based exposure. It is an index that's widely adopted and used by most professional investors. So certainly, when it comes to professional investors, they prefer the MSCI World. Okay. When it comes to retail investors, likewise, the MSCI World is an obvious choice. If you think about in classic case, if I think about where it applies for Kenyan investors, all I got to do is think about how this applies to South African investors. So in South Africa, if you think about the man in the, the everyday person, salaried employers like salaried employees like us, when it comes to savings, if you think about the biggest thing that affects our savings, savings ability is inflation.
Absolutely.
Over time, nothing erodes savings faster than inflation, right? And we're all saving for gold. We're all saving for 5, 10, 20 years. Right?
Retirement, man. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well.
and in many ways, if you look at what we consume, right, we actually consume global inflation. If you look at our smartphones, they're manufactured somewhere else in the world. If you look at what we consume on television, we're consuming Netflix and we're consuming a whole bunch of other.
Yeah.
And so, we consume global inflation. So why not invest in line with global markets? And so in many ways, this is probably proven to be one of the best hedges of inflation certainly for South Africa and certainly for building long-term wealth. So we see tremendous application for this product, both across the spectrum, starting from the retail investor all the way up to the institutional investor. So it was an obvious choice for us to start with the MSCI World.
I love that. Great context there. And let's just elaborate a bit more on the strategy that you have at Satrix and why the MSCI World Index was selected as the benchmark for this ETF. I'd like you to help us on that. And how does it align with your broader investment strategy for African markets?
Sure. So certainly, if I think back to the first ETF that was launched, we as Satrix, we were the first to launch an ETF back home in South Africa 20 years ago.
Wow.
So we've really come a long way. And really our passion and our strategy and our ethos and who we are is around democratizing investments.
Yeah.
It's really about making sure that everybody can access investments. And I think we've done quite a good job back home. So if I look at our market share, we're currently sitting at 36 or 37%.
Wow.
And we are growing. And obviously the next step would be to think outside the South African borders. And I think certainly this is a huge milestone for us, Satrix, because for the first time under my leadership, we have launched an ETF outside of South Africa.
In Nairobi.
In Nairobi.
I love that. Yes.
And this is excellent because we are really passionate about Kenya. We also want to make sure, it's only a 4 hours flight away. So it's something that we believe once we've launched an ETF here, there will be momentum and traction going forward. So really what we want to see also is other Africans gaining access to the MSCI World ETF, which gives you exposure to global companies in Kenyan shillings. So really it's important. The reason why we chose the MSCI World ETF is to make sure that there is diversification, because then suddenly you're able to access 1,300 stocks in Kenyan shillings. This is really fantastic, and we hope to bring more ETFs into this market.
Wow, I love it, and I can't wait for this. Yusuf, you must agree to this that, and I think you had the remarks when the CEO and the chairperson were speaking, that we have a new strategy here at the exchange with a keen eye for retail participation. And ETFs definitely, we agree, are a better way, especially for the generation that we are in right now, where they can have entry. But a lot of investors are still warming up to ETFs, and we have seen that as well. I don't know what's your strategy in place to deploying the demystification of ETFs for investors so that we can grow more of this retail participation.
Look, in many ways, I see similarities, in the Kenyan journey that we've walked in South Africa. Ultimately, it all has to start somewhere, right? So
that's true.
Back to 25 years ago when Satrix launched, it was still very much early days for ETFs in South Africa. The market didn't quite know how to make sense of this instrument, what is an ETF? And, And so over the years, however, that has developed. And to your point, the JSE, and certainly we've seen this in South Africa, where the JSE has opened up and recognized, so the Johannesburg Stock Exchange has recognized the fact that ETFs are a great entry point for retail investors into the formalized stock exchange. And there's lots of reasons for that. If you think about, sometimes you think about a retail investor, they get very excited, they see the stock market, they go to a stockbroker and they open up their first account. Inadvertently, they take a stake in a single company that they like.
Absolutely.
sometimes it doesn't work out that well. You know, it's they've put all the eggs in one basket. They bought a share. It may go up, it may go down.
Yeah.
However, what we've seen in lots of markets is where some of these retail investors who've had a bad experience first up are likely not to come back, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it doesn't do well for translating retail interest because, if someone's had a bad experience, they're likely not to come back. You don't get that snowball effect. And so in many ways, the JSE and most global markets have identified that ETFs actually solve that. It trades like a share, so it feels like buying a share, but it gives you access to a very diverse basket of stocks. So diversification benefits are there.
Absolutely.
You're less likely to, in fact, you're probably very unlikely to be negatively impacted over time. Just inflation alone will see the ETF grow over time.
Yeah.
And so the JSE, and certainly in South Africa, has widely adopted this approach. In fact, in South Africa, we got something called tax-free savings accounts, where the government has supported a tax-free savings culture. So every investor gets up to 36,000 Rand tax-free limit every year you can invest. And the support that the government and the formalized sector sees in exchange traded funds is that they only allow ETFs in this category.
Yeah.
So you cannot invest in anything else besides collective investment schemes, i.e. ETFs.
Yeah.
And so certainly that's been an active strategy, and it's paid off dividends. We've seen the savings rate, which has traditionally been poor in South Africa, but we see strides being made in South Africa amongst the retail community, amongst the very basic saver, now starting to put away, feeling the benefits of their portfolios growing, feeling the benefits of being able to save for a kid's education, or a wedding, a rainy day, and so so certainly ETFs are a great instrument for bringing the retail public
absolutely
into the formalized exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, really, Satrix is really about democratizing investments.
Yeah.
We are all about just changing the narrative,
Okay.
And making sure that people can access investments through a transparent means at a low cost. And we've seen the take-up. And I think that's why we win various awards, including the People's Choice Awards, because people can resonate with that reasoning of suddenly I can buy a basket of shares.
Yeah.
Suddenly I can have access to NVIDIA, Microsoft, whichever company that is included in the MSCI World ETF. I can access that. I can own a part of it.
Yeah.
And I can grow my investments for not only for myself, but as Yusuf has said, for other reasons that I want to invest and save for. And if I want to grow my wealth for the next generation to come, I can also do that.
Absolutely. And with less risk, as Yusuf has said it.
Yeah.
Wow. As we come to a close, I must bring you in to talk about why Nairobi and your expectations, because we're excited, first of all. Why did you choose us?
I must say that we as South Africans are really inspired by your level of innovation, fintech and financial inclusion. So yes, we've been sitting and watching you all the way.
We are the hub.
You are the hub. You are the hub.
Thank you.
I think we are here to see how we can collaborate, co-create, and work with you, because we want to be part of this evolution. We want to be part of this innovation. We want to, I think it's a meeting of two minds, really, when we met with the NSC and the CMA. We are really about democratizing investments. And we believe that the partnerships with different stakeholders will enable everyone, will enable financial inclusion, and will really enable everyone to access the market at a low cost in a transparent manner.
Excellent. Yusuf, I'd like you to give your parting shot, and even as you do that, I would like you to speak to investors who are watching today, who have been a bit shy of ETFs, still saying, I just want to see a real share. But we are seeing this new way of really broadening your investments and diversifying, as the CEO has said it. What would be your message to them? And in terms of performance of this ETF, what do you hope to really give to investors?
So, ultimately, investors do invest by buying our ETF. They do get exposure to world markets. If they're bullish about stock markets, if they want to get in, if they and we all see this. The thing about global markets is that as long as the never-ending innovation takes place in the world, I mean, every day the world is just developing and becoming more dynamic.
Absolutely.
AI is transforming the world. We're seeing efficiencies all the way from the US, Europe, Asia, where the standard of living is just increasing. More people have been pulled out of poverty in the last 30, 40 years than in the 30, 40 years prior.
Yeah.
And this is globally. And as long as those forces are intact, there are tremendous tailwinds behind global markets.
Yeah.
Because global markets essentially is at the middle of fueling this global growth.
Yeah.
And so for investors, and that's, get back to Fikile's point, we're all about democratizing that ability for everyone to participate in this global growth. I mean, it should hardly be the privilege of the few that benefits from the growth in the MSCI world.
Absolutely.
Or, the Tesla share price. Or the Microsoft share price. And so, number one is if investors still feel the world's going to be a better place tomorrow than what it is today, 100%, you should be looking at products like this. You should be, you should be investing in this type of products. An age-old mantra that we always use in South Africa is that there's no better time to start investing than now. I mean, there's something about human nature. People do procrastinate. I'm gonna research the share, and I'm gonna think about it, and inadvertently, there's no perfect time to start investing. You got to start now.
It's now.
And so that's my message. Start now.
And own the market.
And own the market. And own the market.
Yes,
No, I like that. And Fikile, before I bring you in as well for your pertinent shot, I had someone say, in fact, the best time to start investing was yesterday. There you go.
Even better. Even better, right?
Fikile, you have the final word. Please go ahead.
Really excited.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be launching our ETF, a dual-listed ETF in Kenya. Really looking forward to launching more ETFs, and really excited about other Kenyans owning the market.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here as well. There you have it. That was Ms. Fikile Mbhokota, CEO of Satrix, and Yusuf Wadee, head of ETFs at Satrix, and they're right here. So we are no longer talking about some ETF that exists elsewhere. It's right here at the bows. So it's up to you to really take it up and, diversify your investments as well. So welcome to the last part of this conversation on matters Satrix, and definitely the host himself, the chief executive, is right here. Frank Mwiti, it's good to see you again. And fantastic work here. The bell has rung within your first year or so at the exchange. I wanted to ask you, what does this mean for the exchange?
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for having me as well, Maina.
Yeah.
First is to say this is actually a very, very important listing for the NSE and actually for the investor community, both in Kenya and the larger East Africa region. Why? Well, first, this is the first listing we're doing under the new strategy, NSE strategy.
Absolutely.
That speaks to enabling investors access more innovative and relevant products through the NSE. And we can talk in a bit more detail what that means. But one, it's pivotal because it's something we're delivering under our new strategy. Number two, of course, delivering under my leadership. To your point, I just finished a year at the NSE. And then number three, also being a different type of product that we're bringing. So we can talk a bit more about that. But this is important. This is important.
Now let's go to the point of the benefits for investors so that they can understand what you brought in.
So to start off with, the ETF that we've just listed, the Satrix World Feeder Exchange Traded Fund, ETF in short. First of all, it becomes the second ETF we have listed on the NSE. The other one being the new gold ETF. So it's a second ETF. Number two, it is an ETF that enables investors to literally invest in the world, globally, because it gives opportunity to access over 1,398 listed equities around the world.
That's big.
Number two, those equities are listed across 23 developed economies.
Wow.
US, UK, Europe, Asia.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So by buying just one unit of this product, you are getting exposure to literally
that.
investing in the world.
Absolutely.
You're having a stake in the global economy.
You're right. You're right.
The other point, of course, is that it's in Kenya shilling.
Yeah.
That means that we are enabling our investors to make investment without having to think about foreign currency exposure. You don't have to think about dollars or euros or yuan or renminbi or these other things. It's literally about Kenya shilling, you're good to go.
Yeah.
More importantly,
Yes.
it's a product that's listed on an exchange. That means it's a licensed and regulated.
Yeah.
You're interfacing with a licensed and regulated ecosystem. The listing, of course, was reviewed and approved by Capital Markets Authority, the CMA, and of course as ourselves as well as the market infrastructure operator, NSC. And we've made it so easy. It's the equivalent of you buying a share.
Yeah.
Just like you normally buy a share.
Yeah. Yeah.
But imagine you have access to the world. Literally, you can buy a stake of the global economy. Maina.
Just by that, I know. You're in.
It's magic.
I love it. I love it. Finally, Frank, and we shall have a larger conversation later on how the market has been. Let's talk about your strategy and the expectation, because this is the first ETF that you brought in within your first strategy. How many more are we expecting? And are we looking forward to more?
Yes. And I know we will have more detailed conversations around our strategy, but our strategy for 2025-2029.
Yes.
We're already, almost 7 months in the implementation phase.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was approved by the board back in November last year.
Yeah.
And our the strategy period being 2025-2029, within that period, one of the ambitions we have is that we are going to list at least 50 funds and index products. So literally today, it means we are one down, 49 to go. 49 to go. That's over and above the other listings that we intend to bring on the company side. The listing of IPOs essentially. And also, by the way, Maina, is to also mention that it's not experimenting. And by that I mean, this particular product we've brought, Satrix is the leading ETF provider in Africa.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. They have won several awards as well.
They have won several awards. Correct. Exactly. It's a product that is doing very well in South Africa. So we are bringing a tried and tested product. And as I said, the reference is the equities listed in other markets that you're now accessing through the NSE.
Absolutely.
That's the innovation we are bringing and our new strategy.
Okay.
Among other things.
Yes. 49 to go.
Good.
There you go. Thank you so much for your time. That is Frank Mwiti, the CEO at the exchange. And we've just heard as well from Ms. Fikile Mbhokota, the CEO of Satrix, and Yusuf Wadee, head of ETFs at Satrix as well. Thank you so much. Living out with the markets.